Welcome, everybody, to the launch of the ABA and OT podcast. I am your host, Rob Sherbart, but today it's not about me. It's about two amazing women that have come together from two very different backgrounds, but with the same goal. And every one of you that is here right now. I will be introducing the host of the podcast shortly. But before I do, I want to let everyone know that we are able to read comments and questions. So if you have any, do pop these below and we'll read through them throughout the party. Even if it's just a message of support, I'm sure Aditi and Mandy will appreciate it. So grab your favorite drink, relax, and let me introduce these amazing women. Dr. Aditi Mehra has practiced as a pediatric OT for the past 22 years in various settings: early intervention, hand therapy, inpatient, outpatient rehabilitation, tele-therapy, and NICU setting. During her doctoral studies, Dr. Mehra has also pursued a certification in behavioral analysis to improve and enhance collaboration within multidisciplinary teams. Once she delved deeper into the field of behavioral psychology, Dr. Mehra uncovered Fit Learning, an academic program based on the principles of precision teaching designed to build fluency and address all differences in learning. She is currently the director of two Fit Learning labs in Chicago, Denver, and London, England. She continues to practice OT in the school setting. She is an adjunct professor at Elmhurst University and an avid continuing education presenter for various allied health groups. She's just amazing. And Mandy is as amazing. Mandy comes from a corporate finance background and found her way into working in the field of applied behavioral analysis, or ABA, after her youngest daughter was diagnosed with severe autism at the age of 22 months. She founded and ran as CEO the first large center-based ABA program in Western Australia, and she undertook studies towards becoming a board-certified behavior analyst. She moved to the US in 2013 to put her daughter in a full-time ABA program and was dismayed by the lack of data and precision incorporated into her daughter's program. In the middle of winter in Indiana, she drove to a precision teaching conference in Chicago, which changed the trajectory of hers and her daughter's life. After meeting Dr. Kimberly Behrens and being introduced to transformative methods of instruction, Dr. Behrens' organization, Fit Learning. She founded Fit Learning Australia in 2015 and now runs 3 learning centers in Western Australia, with plans to open many more. With her passion to bring accountability and measurement to education to give children the best possible outcome. Her stand is to educate parents on how to assess the effectiveness of learning that their children are undertaking, opening their eyes to the possibilities when learning science incorporating precision teaching is incorporated, and to demand accountability of schools and service providers working with their children. She says she's managing to combine her 2 greatest loves of children and sprinting and still getting away with it. This is Mandy and Aditi, everyone. Woo!
Hello.
Hello, and welcome.
Hi, Rob.
Oh my
Thanks
God.
for that.
So I am extremely humbled to be part of this journey. I've known Aditi and Man for about 2 months, and they've been working so hard on getting this podcast off the ground. I guess the question in everyone's mind is, why do you feel there is a need for a community to bridge the ABA and OTs of the world?
Go ahead, Mandy, you start.
I guess, Rob, my journey is such that I have, while I work in the field of behaviour analysis, I have spent, a lot of time working with other allied health professionals, including OTs. And traditionally, we really don't like each other very much. We speak a different language. We often have different goals. And some of us can be pretty arrogant about what we know and not necessarily open to what we don't know. And I work in a field where OT is a big part of children's programming, both at school and beyond. And I really wanted to open up communication to share the knowledge that we both have, and to make sure that the interventions that our kids were having were aligned. And I guess one more thing I wanted to say is that my journey with my own daughter, took me to places, America and beyond, where I met a lot of amazing people that really cared deeply about the work that they do. But just because you're passionate about the work you do, it doesn't necessarily make it effective. And so I guess my journey has been to really stand for bringing the best that science gives us to transform the lives of the kids that we work with. And this is my stand for this podcast, is to share my knowledge and Aditi's knowledge with bringing everything that we know and making it as effective as possible.
Oh my goodness. So ditto, Mandy, everything she just said. I think what it really is, the whole adage of it takes a village. It truly does. And no profession can stand alone when it comes to really helping, truly helping a child. And I noticed it professionally for probably about, I don't know, maybe 6 years now. I've really realized the bridge, the lack of a bridge between us and the contentiousness, and it bothered me to no end. And when I finally met Dr. Behrens and, learned about FIT and then met Mandy, I always had it in the back of my head that we've got to do something. And then one day I just asked her and she said, yes, let's do it. And she's probably cursing me now because it's so much work. But, it is so important because, like Mandy said, we have such precious time with our children, and professionals have so little time to make a real difference. And I think together we can bring two sides together to really make a profound transformational change. And that's what we're about.
Well said.
That is amazing. And I can really feel that you both are trying to bridge that gap. I see it every day. You're fighting, you're writing, you're disagreeing, but trying to find the common ground on both sides. So I guess, how do you intend to bridge that gap with the podcast? So
I'll go first, Mandy, if that's okay. We disagree a lot. I'm not going to lie. There are lots. We have completely different perspectives. But what's just absolutely beautiful for me is that we start off on two opposite sides, and somehow we get there. Why? Because we have a common goal. And at the end of the day, whether you're a PT, ABA therapist, OT, whatever you are, the common goal is to help a client. And if you keep that in mind, everything just is irrelevant. We find a way. We always do with every episode. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mandy, right? Every episode we're like, oh gosh, okay, you see this, I see that. Oh gosh, how are we going to get there? But we do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it is language. There are some fundamental differences in underpinnings, and I keep learning more and I keep understanding more, and a lot of it is based in language. I mean, you could say that in life in general, that we speak two different languages, and when we start to translate those languages, we start to see the commonality between us. And I think both of our fields have something really important to contribute, and my behaviour analytic friends might be a little skeptical about that, but I promise you, in the kids that I work with really high need, I really feel that occupational therapy has something to add here, and it's about being open to that. On the other side of things, my stand, I guess, is that I really feel that in every avenue of life, being able to measure what we do and measure the effectiveness of what we do is so important. And this is something that the science of behaviour analysis knows how to do really well. And in particular, precision teachers know how to measure behaviour and determine if what you're doing is working, and not just 3 months down the track, but in the moment. And this is my stand, is that there are some extraordinary things that OTs get involved in, But one of the things they haven't incorporated, at least in my experience, is really how to measure the effectiveness of what they're doing, and whether it's already awesome or if it can get better. And this is my stand. So I think Aditi and I, if we can find a way to talk together and use language that's translatable, I think we can share that with an audience. And I already feel out there that there is, a common desire amongst people that I work with to do the same. So I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I'm very excited, and I'm so glad that we're here right now. And we have actually 36 viewers right now, and they're sending their support and their love. And I guess one of the things I would like everybody to get away from here today is maybe there's one trick, maybe there's one thing that they can take away from today. Maybe not a trick, but maybe there is something, a fundamental thing that is a quick win that will help bridge the gap between the ABAs and OTs that you can give to people right now. What would that be?
Do you want me to go first, Aditi?
Go ahead.
Great. I remember once listening to a podcast of Richard Branson's, and he said in response to a question, what makes you so successful? And I think he said something equivalent to, I'm adding my own language here, that he was a fluent listener. And, these are skills that I'm still developing. I can get a lot better at that. But if I had to say one thing, is to listen long enough to hear the message, and without immediately jumping in and bringing your own knowledge and history to the equation. So, yeah, I guess that's the one thing, like when you're working with the enemy, if you like, the OT when you're the behaviour analyst, and the behaviour analyst when you're the OT, just pause long enough to listen, and you are very likely to gain some insight into how to improve what you do. And so that's my one key: listen fluently.
So I'm going to just jump in there. When we started recording, right, like our 4th episode, I had to put a pause button in there. Literally, I had to go, okay, Mandy, pause button, because our issues become so contentious that there are moments where I stop listening because I'm so bothered. And, having that pause really helps me sort of go, okay, let me think about this, let me process this. So we sort of introduced this pause button in our episodes to help each other, because as you're listening, you might encounter that too. So just like Mandy said, take a pause and really process what you're hearing. But my takeaway, I think one of my favorite resources that we have put together thus far is the Ot Aba Icebreaker, which is accessible on our Facebook group. And basically, it's questions that you can ask each other. An OT can ask an ABA, and an ABA can ask an OT. And I think it's brilliant, because instead of giving each other the sort of snide stares and feeling the tension across the room, it's a way to sort of just chat and go, okay, so what is this? Or, how can I help here? Or how can you help here? I just found it really, when I was putting it together with Mandy, it was like, this is something everyone can really use. So I hope that would be a takeaway for everyone.
That is amazing. Thank you so much both for your answers. And again, thank you so much for the hard work and effort that you've put in the podcast and the launch. I know Aditi has been slaving away creating all those resources for the podcast, and you both have been researching and making sure that all the I's and the T's are crossed and dotted. So amazing. Thank you very much. So I think it's time for you both to relax, have a bit of a drink, have a nice party today. And let's go through some of the comments of support that people are sending. Very good. So we've got
down here, a little bit early champagne, but
that's great. So we have a Facebook user saying, let's go. We have Thalich M here, TE. Congratulations to you both. Sorry if I'm butchering these names. We've got Emily Ragazine giving support and love. Kelly Houston is doing this. And then the love, the heart. Teresa Lyons saying, hello, Aditi and Mandy. And then we got Gemma Dorit, congratulations. Then we have Nena Enrique Peran, congratulations. And we have Aileen saying, great job, ladies, valuable info. And Justin Elizabeth also saying, congrats from New Jersey. So thank you, everybody that is currently on the stream. at 43 people. That is amazing. Keep sending the love. Ask any questions. We'll try to get to them. So yeah, let's have a bit of fun and enjoy a bit. And then let's also talk a bit about what we need to make this a success. So I'm going to thank you, everybody, for the support today. All the listeners that are tuning in. And in order to make this podcast a success, and everybody, for Aditi and Mandy to be able to continue doing this for a very long time, I'm going to ask everyone to go to your podcast platform of choice. You will be able to find a link on the chat right now where you can go and maybe subscribe to our podcast. You are encouraged to leave a 5-star review, although you're completely free to do what you want. And please leave a review. You can talk about this thing you liked the most about Aditi and Mandy, or the topic, or whatever it is that you loved about that. So thank you. Thank you so much for the support. And now we can go back. So.
Hey, Caitlin.
We're going to go in and go to the next part of the show, which is we have some people here that would like to come in and congratulate you both for your enormous effort. And the first one to do so.
Okay, I'm guessing it might be up. Rob, you just sort of dropped away there for a second. Am I go?
Yes, Greg. Sorry, I wanted to make it like a drum roll. Let's go.
Right. See, jumping in, I get that from Mandy. Good morning and good evening, ladies. It is so exciting to be seeing this and being able to share this with you. Aditi, obviously, I've only met you a couple of times cyberly, but a long association with Mandy, and I'm just so excited, Mandy, that you've found another platform, another way for you to continue to shout out as loud as you can this message and this focus and this, as you said, you're going to be heard. And I'm just really, really happy that you found another way in which you can be heard, and that you have managed to find someone to come in from that allied area and do this with you. You'd know that from my own experience. I see it every day, that there is just so much money and effort and time put into, but it's not coordinated. It's people going off and doing different things. So if you can help, both of you, Aditi and Mandy, if you can help bring those professionals together to understand that perhaps a more of a, I guess, a joint approach is the best way forward, then that's great. And Mandy, you were always born to be a sprinter, because everything you do in life, you do fast. And congratulations on getting this up and running in such a short period of time. I know you both are going to do so well, because you're so passionate about your individual areas, so passionate about coming together and helping people understand how if we do work together a bit more, it actually makes for an easier thing. So very, very excited for you, and congratulations on the podcast. I will be a regular listener.
Thank you so much, Ray.
And Aditi, the water bottle probably had vodka in it.
I didn't want to say anything. I do know more about Mandy than I thought.
Yes. So I'm guessing Rob's going to jump back in. There he is.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not going to say anything about the water bottle, but yes. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Greg. Next up is going to be Josh.
Okay, hello.
Hey, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great podcast, strictly on the auditory pleasure of two accents colliding. I think that's going to be super fun. But I think that it's really important, especially nowadays, to see this interdisciplinary growth. And I think I'm always a big fan of friction yields, I think, product that's exciting. So as I hear about the discussions that have tension that then turn into really exciting kind of breakthroughs, I'm eager to watch. I know our field needs it tremendously, the ABA field, and as a fit learning partner as well, I'm excited to see platforms where others will learn about the transformative effects that Mandy and Aditi have had and will continue to have. So, I'm super excited to see it. Big round of applause. And,
Love it, Josh.
Right, Josh.
play with my podcast buttons a little bit today. So, like I said, I shared a little bit and said these are two women with wonderful things to share that I think everybody's gonna get education they could take right with them to go do something right now, but also will help everybody in the fields. I think we're all pulling for the same thing: enhance quality of life for everyone, and here we are able to pull together. So, congrats on this launch. I'm really excited to see where it goes, and I will be subscribing and following on my platform, Spotify, that I like to listen to. But I have a couple others if it's not there yet. So kudos on that, and everybody subscribe and listen. It's going to be great.
Thank you so much, Josh. Looking forward to seeing you on the podcast as well,
Yeah.
to bring your unique experience and talking about evidence-based strategies. Excited for that. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Josh. I know Aditi wanted to ask a question to Josh, right?
Well, Josh is actually going to be one of our guest speakers on the podcast, and he is very versed in research. And as you know, research is one of those tricky areas in OT. So I guess my question would be, Josh, do you see that it's possible? Is it possible for us to bridge that gap in research?
Yeah, I think I actually, that's an interesting question, and I think it's important to own your truth criterion when you're coming in, so you understand what you're looking for in research, and understand when you're talking with someone what theirs is. And I think we have, the two professions sometimes have philosophical differences that might yield different interpretations of the same data even. And so I think the bridge to me is, and I've read some, I'm not well versed in the OT literature, but I've read some when I'm exploring various ideas. There's some very strong evidence in the OT literature on things that are done there. And then there's some things that I have some questions about. Even those that I have questions about, I think there's data that can be valuable to any reader and interpret it in a framework that works. So that's my answer. That's without having a literature piece to look at specifically. I think there's definitely value in the OT literature for sure. And for behavior analysts to be open-minded, and when you're reading that, and look for that value. I think my advisor in grad school, the thing that I took away from her that I treasure most is the ability. She could find anything you could give her. There's value there. And we've been trained prior, I know I was, to be critical and say, this is not good enough, blah, blah, blah. She trained us to say, what's really good here? There's always room for improvement, but what can we take? And I think no matter what profession, the literature's got something good in it. Let's pull it and look at it. And what can the two professions together can maybe take things further that way. So that would be kind of my thoughts on the literature divide, if you wanted to call it something like that.
Love it. That's exactly what I'm hoping for. I think that ABA has a very unique lens in research, and OT does too. And instead of sort of poo-pooing, the literature, it's about really looking at it and so where we can learn. So I'm really, really excited about your episode, because I think it's really going to bring it together for both of us. Thank you.
No pressure.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Josh, for that very in-depth answer that I didn't quite understand, but I'm sure the people listening did. So that's what matters. So thank you very much. Next up is Peter. Let me find the right button. And where is Peter? I can't find Peter. Is Peter in? I don't know if Peter is in. Okay, this is what happens when you do things live.
Early here. Yeah.
Say again?
It's still pretty early here. She might not be here yet.
Okay, that's totally fine. Let's jump to the next person. Actually, let me ask you a question from the chat. Teresa Lyons is asking, what are some of the topics or issues that you plan on addressing? I think that's a very good question.
There's so many. For OT, I could speak for OTs, and Mandy, then you can jump in. But for OTs, I think we want help with so many aspects of managing behaviors and, of course, taking data. But we also want to demystify some of the issues that ABAs have had with us and convey that we're so much more than just sensory processing and integration. So, oh my gosh, the topics, like we started off with, you know, early learning, feeding, sleeping, reinforcement, punishment. I mean, how does that all apply in the OT world, and really taking a stance on sensory and behavior in every aspect of treating a client throughout the lifespan. So that's my nuts and bolts of it. Mandy?
Yeah, I think the early episodes are focused on, you know, what are the barriers that exist between our two fields that prevent us from communicating effectively. So our second podcast is on myths that we have about each other's fields. And while I'm here, I may as well just promote my biggest one. And that is that ABA is a therapy or an intervention. And that is the biggest myth about our field, is that we're a science and we can contribute to any field in a meaningful way. So, yeah, those myths, and I know from a behavioural perspective, you know, we have a lot of myths that OTs are just about sensory integration, and you have to let that go because it's a very small part of their field. So, yeah, that's the early stuff. And then we get on to really exciting case studies and bringing our own experience around, you know, bringing measurement to programs like, you know, Aditi will say something like core strength or low muscle tone. And those things can be translated into behavioural terms and measured. And so there's a lot of things that show up, interventions on both sides that we address and look at what can we bring from an OT perspective, what can we bring from a behaviour analytic perspective to make these interventions more effective. So that's very exciting. A case study on very, very early feeding issues and how, you know, our science can add to helping even things like failure to thrive. So, yeah, and then later on we're going to get into handwriting, very specific interventions for addressing hand strength and component skills that maybe sometimes behaviour analysts overlook because they're too small a slice of a behaviour. And so, yeah, I'm excited about lots of all the things down the track to look at in terms of how our fields can come together to improve the quality of interventions. So lots of great stuff ahead.
I do want to mention one thing. You know, we've talked about also getting a Q&A episode just from the audience. So if you have questions and thoughts and ideas, please do let us know in our Facebook group. That's the whole point. We want to get your feedback, answer your pressing questions that are aspects that are very applicable to everyday practice. So yeah, definitely do that.
Great.
Amazing. I hope that answered your question, Teresa. Great. So the next person that wants to come up on screen and congratulate you live is Tara. Let's go to Tara.
Hello. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What an exciting time.
Definitely. So Tara and I met I met your course before I met you, Tara, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I ran across a course called Sensory versus Behavior that Tara had put together. And I was like, oh my gosh, she nailed it. It was perfect. Loved it. And so I messaged her and I was like, hey, you know, could you be a guest in our podcast? Because I was just in awe of your course. And I was so happy to find an OT who had looked so in depth into analyzing sensory and behavior. Mm-hmm. So if I may just go ahead and ask you the question, is what inspired you and prompted you to do that, to take such a close look to sensory and behavior?
So I would say that I was kind of the different OT. So when I went to school first, I had already gotten behavior training before I even started OT school. So I get to OT school and I'm like, why are we not learning about all these behavior strategies? And so then I thought, well, I need to incorporate this. I feel like I'm echoing. Sorry, am I echoing to you guys?
No, you sound great.
Do I sound okay? Okay. And so I got all this behavior training before I started OT school. I started OT school. I learned all these OT strategies, and I but I wasn't learning the behavior strategies. And so I thought, we need to find a way to incorporate both of these, because there's, wonderful things on both sides. With limited resources for families, for providers, we need to work together as much as we can. And so that's where I incorporated all my behavior training along with my OT training, because I do a lot of work with challenging behavior. And I get asked that question all the time. Is it sensory or is it behavior? And my answer is usually yes. Yes.
Exactly.
And so, yeah. But the other thing that my favorite quote, and it's funny that you mentioned that, your quote, Mandy, earlier. My favorite quote is, listen to understand, not to respond. And it goes right in line with what you were saying, is really working together. Because I work with BCBAs all over, and we have to work together. And I learned so much from them. They learned so much from us. And it's been just really enriched what I do with children. So I don't know, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. And I'm so looking forward to it. So Tara really talks a lot about ABC data and how we can collect that from a sensory behavioral perspective. So I think it'll be a very enlightening episode. And then, of course, Mandy can add her spin, which I'm sure she's going to have lots to say. So I'm really excited about that episode. It's really going to be helpful for all therapists. Thanks, Tara, for being here and your support.
And congratulations. So awesome. I know it took so much work to get here. So keep it up. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to listen.
Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you very much. Okay, next up is a duo. It's Jan and Daniel. Give it up.
Hi, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. This two important men in my life that I spend every day with and haven't, pushed me over yet. Actually, maybe one of them has, but maybe one of them has the other day in a game. But thank you so much for being here. We work with some pretty high need learners, and you watch me every day attempting to get the maximum amount of funding for them, and a lot of that comes through occupational therapy, and we are now trying to bridge the gap to measure, what we're doing. And we've gone about employing an OT now and training her in what we know. And I'm really excited to have you both here to share me on this journey. Because when I first said we were going to create Fit OT, you were like, wow, how are we going to do that? How are we going to incorporate occupational therapy to our behavior analytic program? But I love that you're both signed up for big things and bringing the best that we can to our learners and improve the quality of our interventions. So, what did you want to say?
Well, first off, congratulations. This is for a lot of people that are viewing right now. It's such a massive undertaking for Aditi and Mandy, not only because obviously the ABA and the OT sort of side, but America and sort of Australia sort of coming together and
work zones possible.
Yeah,
to work with each other.
Exactly, like 9:30 a.m. here and evening over there. So I know that's a lot of work, and in terms of what I know that Mandy puts put yourself through in terms of staying up till 2:30 a.m. to get a podcast recording. Trying to message you the next morning, which if I message you at 7 a.m., like there's always a reply. Yeah, but I know that you've been up for a podcast if you don't reply because you've been up that late. But
I think we just know that if you put the same amount of love and commitment that we see every day at FIT into the program, and everything you do at FIT, we know that whatever is going to occur through the podcast is just going to be exceptional and groundbreaking. And we're just so excited, I think, to learn and to learn from a field that we probably don't know as much about as we should. So I think Jan and I were just super excited to listen and to learn more.
Yeah, and that's what I guess this podcast is so appealing to me and Daniel, because this is a field where we don't have much experience in, and we are learning together. This is a journey for us as much as it is for the both of you. So thank you so much. Like I cannot congratulate you enough on this massive achievement, and I'm really looking forward to what comes next.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice.
Thanks. And Dan, can I just share that you and I work on one case that we are very, very proud of. Very, very different case who our OT works with. But when our OT is not there, I run the OT program. And I just want to brag that that's now his favourite session, just saying. A little bit of competition there. And now I'm called Mandy the OT. And he comes in every week going, I can't wait for my OT session with Mandy. So
tomorrow, OT.
I'm missing the initials behind my name, but I'm standing as a stand-in OT at FIT. So that's very exciting.
You're an honorary OT. That's what you are.
Honorary OT. I love that. Maybe one day I'll get that award.
Brilliant.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you being there and stepping away from your cases to say hi. Thank you so much.
No, of course. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, guys. Next up. Yes? Oh, yeah. Next up is Jen Curtis.
Hello. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. I have the awesome pleasure of working with Aditi and seeing her every week. And we try to see each other as much as we can, but I know her heart has just been poured into this. So it's super awesome that it's finally happening. So congratulations to you.
So Jen's the one who hears me every week, Mandy, going, oh my gosh, I don't know what we're doing. What are we doing? Is it going to work? And she always calms me down. She's like, yes, it will. So thanks, Jen, for being there.
No problem. But I'm listening and I'm like, I might be the only one that's actually completely unbiased because I am a physical therapist. So I think it's great. You hear a lot of, it's great for the OTs and for the ABAs, but also just to think about there are so many other people that are part of a team that work with kids all together, that really true interdisciplinary part of it. So I think that's why I'm kind of excited about it, just to learn all different perspectives, because all of us treat the same child and we all are coming at it from all of our different angles, and it's important to mesh it all together. And especially in the school system, if there's other people on here that work in the school system, for PTs, a lot of us, it can be very lonely. So sometimes your only other partner is just someone that's not part of your discipline. And if I don't understand, like where an OT's coming from, then it's gonna be kind of hard, but it's just a good collaboration time. So I'm a big, I love podcasts, so I'm super excited to listen to one of someone that I actually know.
Yay. Thank you for representing all the allied health fields, Jen. Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
Because we are called the ABA and OT podcast, but I do feel like the information we have can be so valuable because behavior applies to everybody, obviously, and OTs work with a lot of children in a multidisciplinary team. So I really think, the information we have can really apply to everybody. Thank you.
And I have learned so much just from kids work with us and there's behavior problems or sensory issues, and I need them to do things just as much as you guys need them to do things. So yes, that is nice you're right, totally take advice from everybody and it'll work.
Brilliant, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Jen. Thank you for sharing live the congratulatory to Aditi and Mandy. I'm actually gonna go off road here and I'm gonna open the floor a bit to the men in your lives. How about Ravi goes first? What does he want to say?
Oh boy,
okay.
I need a drink.
Where do we begin? Okay, first of all, I want to say how immensely proud I am of Aditi. She's done a lot. In many respects, she takes on too much to the point where I'm like, oh my God, how do I keep up with this lady? It's just unreal. She's always wanting to take on several different things. She's very motivated. She's inspired by just so much in life. And, the one thing, and I'd like to say also congratulations to Mandy. And I'd also like to say thank you because you guys do your thing on Sunday, which completely frees up my time to watch Premier League soccer. And, me and my kids, that's kind of our thing. And you know what, to not have that interrupted with Oh Lord, can you do some laundry? Oh, the bloody dishes are dirty. Can you take care of those? I like completely uninterrupted. I can watch Premier League soccer and just have that bonding with the kids without any interruption. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. For that, I thank you so much, Mandy. Like, you've almost given me my life back in many respects.
You saved our marriage, man.
Yeah, you really have. You really have. You know, my heart goes out to you. And
podcast, good news. Yeah, I mean, I'm coming and goings quite well because, you know, during the podcast, I hear the garage go up and down, and, you know, Aditi letting out some expletives about, you know, the garage happening. So yeah, I'm learning more about your coming and goings, and I'm sure one day in person we'll get to meet each other. But yeah, I'm really enjoying getting to know you through Aditi, and yeah, I'm glad that I'm contributing to the marriage and to the family. That's what I stand for.
All right. Wonderful. That's unity at its finest. But again, I'm very happy that you guys are taking this on, and I think that I'm a big Eckhart Tolle guy, New Earth, and you know, the idea of ABA and OT, you know, being, you know, contentious sciences with one another, at least, to be able to set aside those egos and come together in a collaborative way is awesome. It really is. Because a lot of people are unwilling to, you know, take that step, take that plunge, however you want to look at it. And I think, you know, hats off to you guys for that. That's really cool.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. What about from your end, Mandy? Does Brody want to say?
This is my partner, Brody. Yeah, he's the one that's getting interrupted sleep when I wake up at 4:30 or go to bed at. Yeah, he's probably not as excited as you, Ravi, about the podcast. But what do you have to say?
I didn't really plan on saying anything, so I'm just very proud of Mandy for taking this on top of an already hectic schedule that I manage. So I know exactly how busy she is because I'm the one that has to find the time when she's got no time to do something. The fact that she gets up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. to do these phone calls with Aditi overseas after coming to bed at 2:30, 3 a.m. in the morning. She doesn't even know what time it is sometimes when she's getting off. And then at the same time, getting up every single morning to look after Juliet before she goes to school, and working a full day in the clinic with the staff after that, and then coming home to do athletics and then back onto the podcast. So yeah, I don't think just anybody could do it. It takes a really special person to do that. And Aditi as well for. I mean, I hear some of the conversations. Our bedroom right there. So sometimes I don't know who Mandy's yelling at.
It's you. It's never me.
In saying that, it's something that has brought you guys together, and you've been able to create something, which I've heard some of the podcasting. So as someone who's got no experience in any of those fields, I think it's quite interesting to listen to. So for any viewers that do have a background in what both of you do, I think it would be something really good for you all. It hasn't benefited my life in the sense that I get to watch Premier League soccer, mainly because, it's 2 a.m., so I'm asleep. It does give me lots of time to play with my dog, so I'm quite happy about that.
Your dog's happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to seeing how everything goes. Obviously, I spend a lot of time in the background making sure Mandy's up to date with her social media posts and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's you two that make this happen. So, yeah, just looking forward to everything that happens moving forward.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. That was really nice. Rob, can I just say that I'm just so grateful for Mandy. And I'm so honored that she was willing to do this with me. I don't know where it's going to go, but I have to honestly say I enjoy every bloody Sunday. Not initially. It starts off a bit wonky, but we get there and we have some laughs, and I I just love it. So thank you for going on this journey with me, Mandy.
Thank you too, Aditi. Thanks for asking me and trusting me. It's a collaboration across, continents and oceans and ridiculous time zones. And yeah, you were going to do this on your own anyway, but asking me to come on this journey with you, it is extending me in ways that I think is very good for my team and the people that I work with and the clients that I support and the parents that I advocate for. It's really extending me as a professional. I know that I will learn so much on this journey, even if sometimes it feels like my brain is going to blow up. And thank you for introducing the pause, because, otherwise we might have had some expletives in our podcast, and it allows us to stop and think and translate, and that's a really valuable contribution. But yeah, I just really appreciate your belief in me, and I have the same belief in you, and I really think that this is a journey worth going on. And we're going to have to be, as I described Teflon, sometimes there's going to be things thrown at us, and we're going to have to be really strong in that. If we are evoking anger or emotion in someone else, I think that's a really good thing, and I'm all up for that. So yeah, thanks for letting me do this. It's just such an honor to be on this journey with you.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead. What do you want to say?
I just want to include one thing while I was talking, and amongst that, also big thanks to this guy up in the corner
Rob,
who
wow, what a guy.
facilitated a lot of things in the background. I look at that base camp project regularly to see what's going on, and without you, I couldn't have done the part.
Excuse me, I found Rob. Just FYI.
Great thing you did.
So, thank you. But yeah, thanks a lot, Rob, for all of your background efforts to make it happen. Otherwise, today wouldn't be a thing.
Making it so fun.
And Aditi for finding Rob.
Yeah, great.
You know what? I had to kiss a lot of frogs before we found Rob, okay? Lots. I went through a lot of people, interviewed them, and Rob, you are quite the find. You are my prized possessions as far as podcasters. So thank you.
But when I want to start a podcast, I'm telling you, we could never have done this without him. From day one, inception.
We would have been done.
And you're not going anywhere, Rob. You're not going anywhere. We need you for a lot longer yet. So thank you for really making this happen, and also making it super fun. Amazing.
Oh my God, thank you.
And
Thank you so much for the kind words.
Yeah, everybody, do you know that it's 2 a.m. in Madrid where Rob is? So not only did I find a co-host in Bleeden, Australia, I decided to find a podcast production manager in Spain, because that's who I am. I like to make it more complicated. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the kind words. And I swear to God, I'm not paying this woman to say all of this. Yet. Okay, we'll talk about later. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much for everyone that joined us as guests to talk to Mandy and Aditi and congratulate them live. I think it's time for me to remind everyone to help us. Please help us with the podcast. Just a subscription. It takes a couple of minutes. I'm going to nudge you a bit into leaving a 5-star review, but you're welcome to leave any review. Maybe a bit higher would be nice, but yes, we welcome everything. And yeah, just leave a review, say what you like about the podcast, check it out, see if you resonate as Mandy and Aditi are trying to do with any of the things that they're saying. Obviously, there's going to be like treading some waters and maybe there's conflict, but maybe that's why you check on in every week. Is there going to be something contagious? Is there going to be something that you're going to be like, whoa, I don't agree with that? Who knows? We hope to see you there. Thank you. Thank you so much. Cool. And then for the last bit, I'm going to read a bit more of the comments. People are just flowing in. Caitlin is saying, can't wait.
Already, which is really exciting, Rob. I can see people down there, reaching out to each other already. And that's our biggest goal is to people communicating with each other. And I can see that happening already. How exciting is that?
Yay.
Definitely check out the group that Mandy and Aditi have created for you guys to go in and talk and share resources and, open the community, like create a community around this. This would be just great. So yeah, Caitlin comes in, says, can't wait to listen. Big love from New York City, and has loves and party hats emojis. And then we have Nicole Rasavich saying, congrats, looking forward to listening. Logan says, absolutely love the idea behind this podcast. Appreciate both of you ladies and your hard work. And then we have Candy Shaw saying, as an OT and BCBA, I'm looking forward to listening. Congratulations. Then we have Facebook user, random Facebook user, just sending a kiss and a heart and saying, love you too, Aditi. Don't know who you are through the chat, but we love you back. Congrats to Aditi and Mandy, and thank you for the hard work. We have Kelly Houston clapping. Judah saying, lots of love from Florida and a lot of heart. And then we have Teresa Lyons again. Congrats. I look forward to listening. And Gemma saying, well done, ladies. Privileged to witness the journey. Consider some sleep. Hey, Mandy. Good. That is amazing. Thank you, everybody. I have some questions. They may be hard questions. Maybe we don't have enough time to delve into these, but I'm just going to read them out, and you guys can tell me if we're going to cover this in a future episode or not, or we'll go from there. So Tia is saying, how do you recommend collecting data on sensory strategies to see if they are actually working with the student and managing behaviors? I don't know anything about this topic. I can already tell you it will be a big one. So is this something we may cover in a future episode?
Rob, if you want to say something too, but yeah, I've had a lot of behavioralists reach out to me and go, good luck with measuring sensory integration, and good luck with measuring these sensory, interventions that OTs are recommending. But I am already doing that in my clinic, and I'm very excited to share that information. That is not something that I can answer simply here, but Aditi and I both stand for showing you how to do that. And really, measuring the effectiveness of what you're doing. We're not even going to ask you to change your intervention, but just maybe change the way that you're accounting for it. So yeah, that is definitely a big part of where we're going from here. And definitely Josh is going to contribute to that process in talking about research and showing you how some of those interventions can be assessed. And yeah, a multitude of podcasts coming up to share information around measurement and precision, and how to measure what you're doing.
So much said there. So I learned precision teaching through Fit Learning, and I actually started using that method of data collection with my OT clients, and that's actually what sparked it in me to go, gosh, if I can do this, so can other OTs. It's just a matter of getting that information out there. So it's definitely possible. And, I'm hoping Mandy can help me really educate OTs on this new format.
Great. Amazing. So yeah, stay tuned. I'm sure that Aditi and Amanda are going to be covering this in much more depth, maybe not even in one episode, maybe in multiple episodes. So definitely check that out. Thank you for your question, Tia. We have Michelle Robbins asking, what help is available for young adults who missed out on early intervention? Is everything still geared around young? Again, I don't think this is a short answer at all.
That's a great question. I love that question, because even though a lot of the students in my clinic are young, my own daughter with learning challenges is now 16. And so I'm always learning more as she gets older in terms of things like teaching work skills and independence and, as you guys call them, daily living activities, etc. And these methodologies that we are prescribing can be used to teach anything to anyone. How's that? That's a big stand, but that's actually very, very true. So, and you might learn how to measure your own behavior as well. This is my stand for everybody. So, a lot of our science looks at habit reversal, like nail picking that I used to be, weight management, improving sports performance, one of my huge stands, looking at how to put exercise into, an adult's behavior, how to teach reading at a later age, so many things that we can look at down the track. So that's a really great question, because I know exactly where that question is coming from. A lot of our funding sources and our focus is on young learners who have recently been, diagnosed with some sort of learning challenge. But these methodologies can be applied at any age. And one of biggest successes that I took on a little while ago is that a lady that reached out to me who has a 21-year-old with really profound autism. She's in Singapore, and I trained her to use precision teaching to teach him to tie his shoes at the age of 21. And it's one of my proudest moments because she did it herself with my supervision in Singapore. And that doesn't seem like a big thing to most people, but for her, it was like a massive achievement because his self-care was, really, really impaired. And that just gave her a lot of motivation to teach a lot of things. And now I know he's doing the dishes and there's lots of things that he's contributing to. So it's never, ever too late to teach important skills. And OT brings a lot of underpinnings to that as well. This is a science that I've had to learn more about your foundations and where you came from. And there's this amazing video that we share in our first podcast. Is it today? First or second? First, about the history of OT and where you guys come from and what meaningful and impactful work you undertake. So yeah, those things that we're going to contribute can apply to any age.
Amazing. An answer. Anything you want to add, Aditi, or ditto? I'm going to say ditto.
I think Mandy said it. I mean, we're going to start, we're starting with early learning, obviously, but we are planning to go across the lifespan because OTs address everything, and we start from age 0 all the way to the elderly. So we will. It's just we have to build to getting there. So again, if you have specific questions or specific situations that you're looking for just some thoughts about, we're happy to take that on our Facebook group and hopefully give an episode around it.
Great. And there's one more thing I wanted to add too, because as behavioural analysts, one of the things that we really look at is motivation of a learner, and it's something that a lot of people don't understand about our field. They think we're just stars and, reward charts and things like that. But actually, one of the most important things is to look at motivating an individual, how to create an environment that, makes them want to engage in instruction with you. And that, of course, goes on to the teams that you work with. So how to motivate a team, how to bring together a team to have, really impactful outcomes for your learners. And that's another thing. So not just the learners that you work with, but the teams that you work with and your own staff is another thing that we're going to present on. And OT has a contribution there, as does behavior analysis. So, yeah, so this is for everyone.
Yep. And you can apply it to a spouse.
Definitely. Yeah. And your dog. But in my case,
not in that order.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Brody's like, I'm out of here. Bye.
I have a lot of successful cases that are. But
let me not puppy.
This is probably this is definitely a work in progress. So yeah, she's.
I know. Of course, Ravi's gone to get we have a Saint Bernard, so he's gone to get he'll take up the whole screen.
I told you not to mention animals. There I go. Blowing that apart.
Yes, definitely.
Well, thank you so much. And just a reminder that, as they've said already, Aditi and Mandy, they both said it, but all the resources, you can find them in the Facebook group. The show notes are on the public page. You can find them all there, but the resources, you need to join the group. It's a private group, but we'll accept everyone as long as you follow the rules. Please join the community. Please talk to people and check that out. Great. I think we're coming to an end, but before we do that, again, I'm going to be the person reminding that we can only do this with your help. Please subscribe to our podcast. You can do so in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or Stitcher. Please leave a 5-star rating. I'm going to ask you to do that, please. And do definitely leave a review. You've heard Aditi and Mandy talk about multiple things today. They're going to be covering much more things related to the things that we've been talking about today in the podcast. So definitely subscribe and leave a review if you're interested in following them. Thank you so much. Great. I think that brings the whole party to an end, which doesn't mean it has to end. I mean, some people need to go to work, but other people can keep partying. So I think I'm going to leave it open for Mandy and Aditi to say goodbye to everyone up here. We still have 17 people connected online, checking out what we're doing, showing our dogs and whatnot. So what do you guys have to say to the people that are currently listening? And, you know, I would like to thank all of them, but what would you like to address to them? We can't hear you, Mandy, Aditi.
Did you on pause, on mute, I think?
Oh, there I am. I'm on mute. I was just going to say that I'm just so grateful for all the support from both sides. Prior to venturing in this direction, you know, I had faced a lot of sort of contentious comments, and I was a bit fearful of doing this. So thank you. That's really helped my anxiety level for sure. And I'm so very grateful for everyone's willingness to at least go there with us initially. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks everyone for joining, and to my associates and my team members that found their way out of sessions to get here. To Aditi for believing in this process. We have a long journey together ahead, I think. But you know, at the end of the day, we're living in a very challenged world right now in so many different regards, and really our commitment is to make the world a better place by what we're doing here, and it really can. That I really have that belief. I have a lot of hope that what we're doing together can bridge some gaps and open up what we both know to other fields as well, education and beyond. And yeah, thanks, Aditi, for seeing that bigger picture and believing. And yeah, thanks to everyone who is joining us in that journey.
Woo! Great. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you all for being here today. It's been great having all of you here. Great comments, great questions, great guests. I hope you leave here inspired and positive for what is to come. And yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. This concludes the party. Let's keep drinking after the fact. And yeah, new episode coming out next week, right? So
yes.
We hope.
tuned for that.
We'll get there. I'm going to stop drinking now. Okay.
Right, I did it.
Well, it was great.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
See ya.
everyone.
Bye.